Welcome again, everyone, to another session of the 17th Annual Transforming the Teaching and Learning Environment Virtual Conference. I'm Bob Hales. I'm your moderator. Don't forget today at noon Central, our sponsor, the Journal of Educators Online, will have about a 20-minute thing where they'll talk about how you can be involved with it and so forth. It'd be great if you dropped in for a few minutes. We have with us Dr. Joe Ivanek, who is the Director of Institutional Instructional Design and an Assistant Professor of Medical Education for the Geisinger College of Health Sciences. We've been fortunate to get Joe to present for us several times in the past, and we get to take advantage of his knowledge again today. He's going to talk about implementing mobile first strategies in online education. All yours, Joe.
Thank you very much, Bob. Happy to be back. Thank you for the nice introduction. I guess there's no sense in me repeating the title since you guys just heard it, right? So we can go ahead and jump in. And I'll also let you know, I know that there's an hour reserved for this. It's not going to take an hour. I'll try to get to half an hour. I'll do my best. But anyway, to start, introduce myself. I know Bob gave me a nice introduction. My name is Joe Ivanek. I work at the Geisinger College of Health Sciences. We are a small health sciences school in Scranton, Pennsylvania. We were founded as a medical school, and then in 2017 we merged with the Geisinger Health System. If you're in, Central PA or Northeastern PA, perhaps you're very familiar. It's pretty large. And then last year we became the Geisinger College of Health Sciences once the School of Nursing came under our umbrella. So we have a graduate school that has a master's degree, a Master of Biomedical Sciences. Of course, we offer an MD. Doctor of Medicine, and then now we offer nursing degrees as well. So I'm the Director of Institutional Instructional Design, also an assistant professor, and in my role, I lead a team that partners with faculty to ensure that we're delivering high quality learning experiences for students, whether these are online or hybrid courses or face-to-face as well. I also teach two courses, both electives, both geared towards MD students that want to become educators or considering the possibility in their future. Those courses are AI in education as well as 21st century teaching skills. So today's presentation is going to cover three main areas. That includes the rise of mobile technology, principles of mobile first design, as well as strategies for implementing mobile first approaches in online education. We'll go over some challenges. I'll cover a couple case studies of other institutions that have successfully done this. And really the significance of this topic, I think, lies in increasing the use of mobile devices, the need for education to properly adapt, to these evolving preferences and behaviors. So state is a little out of date. I know that this is a presentation I gave previously. I kept it as is, but some of the data is from 2021. Now we're already in 2025, which is crazy, halfway through February, just about. But so mobile technology has, seen really an unprecedented rise in recent years. Back in 2021, there was over 3.8 billion smartphone users globally. Obviously, I would highly doubt that number went down. Probably only went up. The average daily time spent on a smartphone is 3 hours and 15 minutes. And quite frankly, I would have guessed it was more. Not proud of it, but probably more for me. Always on it, right? Use it for email, for work, I just tons of stuff. 79% of smartphone users have reported they've used their device to make a purchase online. I thought that would be higher too, and probably now it probably is. 70% of web traffic comes from mobile devices. So these statistics, highlight the pervasive nature of mobile technology and its impact across various sectors, which of course include education. As more people rely on their mobile devices and their smartphones for accessing information and services, it's crucial that online education aligns with that trend to remain relevant and effective. I know I do that all the time. It's probably silly, but here I'll sit here at my laptop and sometimes will answer an email on my phone. Maybe it makes no sense, but that's kind of what I've become accustomed to. Sorry, skipped over one. But so the principles of mobile first design. Mobile first design is an approach that prioritizes the mobile user experience when creating digital content. Here are some of the key principles, which are responsiveness, meaning to ensure that content can adapt seamlessly to different screen sizes as well as different screen orientations. Also simplicity, right? Keep the design clean, keep it straightforward. You don't want to be overwhelming the users. You don't want to have a lot of fluff that isn't relevant to the content that kind of just causes a distraction. And speed, optimize content as well as you can to load quickly, even on slower networks when you can. So user-centered design is also, very important in mobile first approaches. This means understanding the needs and behaviors of mobile users and creating interfaces that are intuitive and easy to navigate. Through focusing on those principles, hopefully we can, create good or high quality educational content that is accessible as well as engaging for mobile users. So adapting educational content for mobile. It requires a couple specific techniques. So clear and concise information. Mobile screens obviously are small, right? Not a laptop, desktop, something very large. So it's important to present information succinctly. Break down complex topics into smaller digestible chunks. Think back to, the best practices of microlearning for this. That's something that we preach. We try to have faculty kind of break things down into smaller chunks rather than, I know we have Panopto, which Bob discussed a little bit before this. We have Panopto for our video system. And one of still a challenge is getting faculty to move away from really, really long recordings. We work with faculty frequently to say, hey, where can we break this up by topic, right? Maybe a 1 hour video can be broken down into 5 to 10 minute chunks. Then when students are watching it at home or on their own time anywhere, they have a much easier way to really break it down and digest it. They can rewatch. You're not trying to use the see the playback thing going for an hour. Where am I trying to find it? It's much easier when they're short videos. But also multimedia elements. Use videos, infographics, also interactive elements that are optimized for mobile devices. Ensure that multimedia content is high quality and also can load very quickly. Years ago, I know at an institution I worked at, one of the big kind of culture shifts was getting faculty to not upload videos directly, the video file, into the LMS. Obviously, the file size becomes enormous and eventually they run out, but not ideal. So when you're a student, you have to then download the file, right? So obviously a very, very simple example. And I'm sure most people here probably follow it as well. But if you have a platform that integrates with your LMS, have it hosted on there, embed it, then they can easily watch it directly in the LMS. There's no downloading a big video file. It's very easy to watch. Also, touch-friendly design. Make sure that any navigation buttons or interactive elements are easily able to be tapped and pressed by people on mobile devices. You also want to make sure the navigation is intuitive. These techniques can help ensure learners can access and engage with content effectively and reliably on their mobile devices. Interactive and intuitive design. These elements are crucial for engaging mobile learners. Here's, a few examples are things such as quizzes. You can incorporate short interactive quizzes to, reinforce learning, also provide immediate feedback. You can also use simulations. Simulations, can create immersive learning experiences that allow learners to apply their knowledge in practical situations or scenarios. And of course, gamification, you can gamify learning activities to increase engagement and motivation. Designing intuitive navigation for touch interfaces involves, making sure that users can easily find and access the course content. Make sure you're using clear labels, make sure you're using, simple menus, and And some of this is by default. So if you're using an LMS that has an app, some of it, obviously it'll be transferable to the app from the LMS. So there's not a lot of leeway of, what we can make the menu look like. Also use consistent design patterns to create a seamless user experience. Mobile specific features. So mobile devices, they offer unique features that can significantly enhance online education. Of course, there's touch navigation, right? Use your finger. And I mean, I know I have an iPhone. There's no more, well, side buttons or volume and stuff, but on the screen, on like the main part, there's no more buttons. So make sure that gestures like swiping and tapping can create interactive, engaging learning experiences. For example, so touch navigation can make it easier for learners to interact with simulations or maybe drag and drop activities, which can perhaps enhance their understanding and retention of the material. Push notifications can be used to remind learners about deadlines, also new content, or upcoming events. This can keep them engaged and on track, but also this is probably up to the learners themselves to have the notifications turned on. And the way mine works, my smartphone, my iPhone, I only get notifications for an app if I allow it, right? If I have something and I don't want it sending me notifications, I can easily turn them on or off. Also offline access. If you can provide options for learners to download content for offline access, that can ensure that learning can hopefully continue even without an internet connection. Right? So if you're an online student and you do your work on the weekends, but you're going on, let's say, a family camping trip, you can download the content and still access it. Not that it's ideal to, be in a tent or a log cabin doing that, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But offline access is particularly beneficial for learners in areas with unreliable internet connectivity. Location-based services. So mobile devices can use GPS as well as other location-based services to deliver content or context-aware learning experiences. For instance, a history app might provide information about historical landmarks when a learner is near them. That'd be pretty cool. Takes me back before we moved here, not to go off on a tangent, but we lived in Philadelphia, right, in Center City. Obviously, a lot of really interesting history there. It'd be really cool to have something like that as you're walking around, popping up for you. But by incorporating these mobile specific features, we can hopefully greatly enhance the learning experience for students and learners on mobile devices by making them, interactive, engaging, and more accessible. So some of the challenges of mobile first strategies. Implementing these strategies comes with their own set of challenges. Device variability, right? There's numerous types of mobile devices with varying screen sizes. So mobile device isn't limited to smartphone. Smartphone, I think nowadays is mostly just iPhone or Android. Maybe there's some tiny little percentage of people that have different operating systems, but it differs. Also, mobile devices isn't limited, or they aren't limited to smartphones, right? Mobile devices is an iPad or an Android tablet. I know I have, Microsoft Surface tablet. I'm pointing to my floor like it's in my office, but there's a couple of different mobile devices, but they have varying screen sizes, they have varying resolutions, and of course, operating systems. But ensuring compatibility across all devices can maybe be challenging. Screen size limitations, right? The screens are smaller than desktops, making presenting complex information more difficult. So in some ways, the more simple, the better. Also, bandwidth and connectivity. Not all learners have access to high-speed internet at all times. That can impact their ability to access and interact with the content. So make sure that we're focusing on responsive designs, using scalable graphics, and optimizing content for low bandwidth situations or environments. Enhancing accessibility on mobile platforms. So a couple techniques for improving the accessibility is to use readable fonts. Something nice, plain, you don't need anything fancy or the cursive looking fonts, right? And it's probably just a common sense thing, I would hope. But use fonts that are easy to read on small screens. This can ensure sufficient contrast between the text as well as the background. Incorporate voice command functionality to assist learners with disability if you're able to. Also, alternative text, right? One of the best practices for UDL, of course, but provide alternative text for images and multimedia content to support learners who use screen readers. Legal and ethical considerations also play a role in accessibility. Obviously, it's very important to comply with regulations like the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, as well as the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. Through enhancing accessibility, hopefully we can ensure that all learners have equal opportunities to succeed. Increasing engagement through mobile learning. Some of the strategies to do that, I mentioned microlearning a little before, but if you're able to break the content into short and focused modules that can be completed in a few minutes, this aligns with the way that people typically use mobile devices. I think the small screen certainly lends itself to kind of bite-sized chunks more than something, that takes a long time. For instance, if you're reading a book and you want a mobile device, you'd probably rather have a Kindle, if not the book itself, not a smartphone. But social learning, incorporate social features if you can, if it's relevant, if it enhances learning, such as discussion forums and group activities to foster collaboration and interaction amongst the learners. Interactive content. Use interactive videos, polls, and quizzes to keep learners engaged and active. Examples of engaging mobile learning activities include interactive case studies, virtual field trips, or perhaps even gamified quizzes. Increased engagement can lead to better retention of the information, as well as improved learning outcomes. Excuse me. Effective assessments on mobile. So conducting assessments on mobile devices requires careful planning to ensure reliability as well as validity. So here's a few methods. So you can do formative assessments. For instance, use short quizzes or polls to check for understanding throughout the course. Summative assessments, if you want. Design exams and projects that can be completed on mobile devices. I know at our institution, I don't see us adopting, high stakes summative assessments on mobile, because I know that the security of the exam is something that's of very, very high concerns. But you want to make sure they're secure. They can prevent cheating. Peer assessments. You can encourage learners to provide feedback on each other's work, which can be facilitated through mobile apps. Some examples of mobile-friendly assessments include, but are not limited to, of course, tools like Quizlet, maybe Google Forms, or Kahoot. These tools are designed to be easily accessible on mobile devices, and they can provide instant feedback to learners. So the first case study is at Abilene Christian University. They've been a pioneer in integrating mobile technology into education. Their mobile first strategy has been aimed to enhance student engagement and learning outcomes by leveraging mobile devices for educational purposes. So through the implementation, what they did is they distributed iPhones to all incoming freshmen to facilitate a mobile-first learning environment. This initiative included developing mobile apps that supported classroom activities, such as participating in discussions, accessing course materials, as well as submitting assignments. They also employed adaptive learning technologies that provided personalized learning experiences for students based on their interactions and performance. This helped tailor educational content to meet individual student needs. Adaptive learning, of course, now has become much easier to, create based, through AI, but that's a whole other topic and presentation itself. Some of the challenges they face, technical challenges, ensure that the mobile apps are compatible with different devices as well as different operating systems. If anybody was using them, even though they, of course, I want to say, they distributed the iPhone. So should be on iPhones unless they had an Android or something else that they tried to use. Faculty training, always very, very essential to any initiative, but need to provide sufficient training for faculty members so they know how to effectively use and integrate mobile technologies into their teaching methods. So some of the outcomes were increased engagement. So the use of mobile devices significantly increased student engagement and participation in classroom activities. Improved learning outcomes. Adaptive learning technologies help improve students' academic performance by providing personalized support. And some of the key takeaways from this case study are that the success of their mobile-first strategy highlights the importance of integrating mobile technology into the educational process. Through addressing the technical challenges and providing adequate support and training for the faculty members, Abilene Christian was able to significantly enhance student engagement and the learning outcomes. Next case study, Colorado Technical University. So they developed a comprehensive mobile app to support their online degree programs. They aimed to meet the needs of their modern and mobile-savvy student population. So for the development of the app, they launched the CTU mobile app, which provided students with access to live lectures, discussion boards, course materials, and assignments. They could submit assignments through their mobile devices. The app featured features such as Touch ID, push notifications, and one-touch support to enhance the user experience. Some of the student feedback was used for the development of the app because they regularly have sessions with focus groups in the development to ensure that the app met their needs and expectations, which is super important. I think sometimes, I know I've experienced it, been on committees where we kind of forget who some of the stakeholders are, right? Maybe we have people from the technical side or the instructional design side, that would be me and my team, some faculty members, some administrators, and we leave out another stakeholder group that's obviously very important to higher education, students. But by including them, really to help ensure this would be a success. Some of the challenges they faced, some of it was user adoption. Encouraging students to adopt and regularly use the app. It required a coordinated effort from faculty as well as staff, and technical issues. They're able to address bugs and ensure the app functions smoothly for all operating systems. Some of the outcomes, enhanced engagement. The mobile app significantly improves student engagement by providing easy access to educational resources and real-time updates. Students also reported high satisfaction with the app, citing its convenience as well as its motivational support that it provided. So I think the experience at CTU really underscores the importance of involving students in the development process and continuously collecting feedback to refine and improve the mobile experience, including students I know for online courses, we include them in the feedback experience, and all of our courses, all of our programs are pretty much in a continuous improvement, right? Cycle. It doesn't mean, every term or semester you tear everything down and start over again. But yeah, just make little adjustments where needed, but always take into consideration feedback from students, but also keep in mind one thing that might work right now, February 2025, might in June not be working so well. So adjustments are always needed. But some mobile learning strategies at the Geisinger College of Health Sciences, my employer. So right now, concepts introduced, and what we have Canvas as our learning management system. I'm assuming if anyone here is in higher ed, you're probably very familiar with it. Most likely that at least a couple of you probably have Canvas or have played with it before. But of course, it comes with its own mobile app. I know other widely used LMSs do as well. So for all mobile learning initiatives, we're kind of limited with that. And I shouldn't even say limited, but it's what we use. And it's good. It works great. But right now, we're still kind of in a pilot planning process. This is not a big priority, but of course the priority is having, high quality content be delivered to students But as far as tailoring it to mobile devices, it's something that we've introduced. It's something that we discussed. But I know right now for my team, two bigger priorities are AI and education. We're launching an AI center within the next month or so, and also UDL. Want to make sure the courses are as accessible as possible, giving everybody the same, opportunity to be successful and learn the materials. But mobile learning strategies have been introduced. We do periodically meet and discuss them, but not a big priority, which is understandable too. But I hope that we do focus on it more in the future. So we optimize content so it does fit nicely within the devices, even though I don't see us moving, as I mentioned, anytime soon for high stakes exams to using mobile devices. I know we use a program called ExamSoft, which really locks it down. And that's certainly the preference amongst our faculty. So some of the future trends in mobile learning, looking ahead, and I would say that a lot of these are not trends that are only for mobile learning, kind of just trends of learning or online learning, but AR and VR, augmented reality and virtual reality. So both of these technologies can create, of course, maybe hopefully someone's experienced it here, but immersive learning experiences that are highly engaging, right? Apple has released the Vision Pro a while back, and it looks awesome. I've not had the chance to use one. I think it's around like $3,500. I don't have that sitting around, but if I come across that, in a drawer by chance or something, maybe I'll look into it. But it looks really cool, and of course, the MetaQuest has been around longer, but for much less. There are also a few, augmented reality glasses on the market. Artificial intelligence or AI. So AI can provide personalized learning paths as well as real-time feedback, of course, enhancing the learning experience. So AI combined with augmented reality or virtual reality could really, potentially produce some incredible learning opportunities for students. 5G technology, as time goes on, cell phone connectivity and mobile device connectivity improves. So, this will enable faster and more reliable mobile internet, which will then allow for richer multimedia content and better real-time interactions. And also micro-credentials, nothing new, but offering micro-credentials and badges for completing mobile learning modules can perhaps motivate learners to provide tangible proof of their skills. Roadmap for implementation. So to successfully implement mobile strategies, there's a couple of things that you can kind of follow to hopefully be successful, right? So assess your current capabilities, identify areas for improvement. Kind of take a lay of the land, right? What's the general feel? What's the vibes? How are people feeling about this? Is this something they're open to? Invest in the necessary infrastructure, including mobile-friendly platforms and tools. This can be anything from making sure that you have high-speed internet to actually offering devices to learners as well as faculty and staff. But probably each institution, this will vary. Develop a clear strategy for integrating mobile-first approaches into your curriculum. So I guess move forward with a plan, right? Have clear steps of what you want to do. I think that of course will help get a lot more buy-in than if you call a meeting with stakeholders and say, hey, I want to try out mobile learning, and I don't know what we're going to do. We're just going to go on the fly and see how it goes. Right? That's that has no direction, and that's really not an ideal way to launch something. And continuously, of course, evaluate, refine your mobile learning initiatives based on feedback and data. So feedback from all stakeholders involved, faculty, students, anybody on the technical side, take feedback from all into consideration. So some of the recommendations for educators and instructional designers include staying updated with the latest mobile learning trends, collaborating with experts when possible, and prioritizing student-centered design. Tools and resources for successful implementation include responsive design frameworks, mobile learning management systems, as well as analytical tools. And with that, I'll kind of open it up for questions if there are any.
So when you're designing a course, do you really go into it designing it for mobile, knowing that if it works there, it'll work other places?
You can. That's one thing that we would try to keep in mind for our, not a 4 credit course, but our latest faculty development course is based on AI. We wanted to make sure that it was not, well, first, it was valuable, informational, gave faculty what they need, but also will display as needed and effectively on mobile devices. And that's one thing that we did using the Canvas app, which we have, as our LMS. They could complete it. We hold training sessions, of course, synchronously, just like this on Zoom. But if faculty cannot attend, we also have them not only just recorded, but actually broken down into asynchronous online courses. So, if you can't make a right now at 11:34 a.m. you're busy, you're in this, you can't hop onto a training, but on your own time, you can log in, and whether it's on your mobile device or your laptop, and access the content. But yeah, we tried to and we try to encourage it. But like I said, it's not a big priority right now. It's been introduced. I think it's a good thing to keep in the back of our minds when we're designing courses, but there's some other initiatives for our team that are kind of taking precedence over that right now.
I'm guessing we're finally getting faculty who have grown up using mobile devices.
Yeah. I think that well, I mean, the further back you go, 5, 10, 15 years, then we had a very mixed population, right? We had some faculty that, very, well, we'll say a small percentage that were very, tech savvy, and they want to do a lot. We also a lot of faculty who spent the majority of their careers barely using a computer. So the thought of doing something online or using a mobile device, that would not go over too well. But I think as time goes on, that, the that culture shift is certainly leaning more towards the tech savvy faculty members that embrace mobile devices or online learning, and other educational technology tools.
Do do you use an LMS?
Yes, we have Canvas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
And
have
so
Canvas.
the nice thing about something like that is it does more of the heavy lifting in terms of adapting to mobile and other
Yeah,
screens.
there's a Canvas app that, I mean, basically it's a mobile platform, a framework that just for that we just build the content within. But yeah. All the big element, Blackboard, D2L, they all have an app that pretty much does that. But yeah.
I don't know. Any other questions?
I put this in the chat, but I'm just curious about I use Canvas regularly. Do you just build it in the regular LMS platform and then allow Canvas to adjust it? I'm familiar with the mobile app as well, both the instructor app and the student app. Or is there something special that you're doing to make it work a little better?
Sure. I mean, well, the answer is yes. That is what we do. But we just try to not, create content that is not user friendly, that won't display nicely. So, basically keep it to the point, in small digestible chunks. No extra graphics. If there are any graphics, of course, have the alt text and everything. So keep it accessible. But yeah, nothing that's, I'll say, unnecessary. Or no yeah, unnecessary stuff included. But yeah, we built it right in Canvas, and then evaluate the way that it looks on the mobile app.
Oh, okay. So can I ask one other question?
Sure.
Um, when you're building it, and you know how I'm in nursing, so I heard that you have nursing there. So I'm
Yes.
assuming you're probably assisting them.
Mhm.
Do you strip down what was in the regular LMS, like in-person LMS, so that it's more compact? I'm trying to think it through. Do you have like a separate app for those that use the mobile or online sort of thing?
No, no, I mean it's all one LMS. So if it's a face-to-face course or an online course, everyone uses Canvas. There'll be different course sections though. So if you're teaching two courses, one face-to-face, one online, you'll have two course sections. And of course, they'll likely differ. So the online course most likely will have discussions, perhaps the face-to-face won't, because the discussions will be happening, in person in the classroom. Um, but yeah, we build it right into that course section, and then evaluate the way that it looks on the mobile app.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that.
Sure.
It's still a challenge, isn't it? Even with, mobile, you've got so many different screen sizes still. And
Yeah, I think the app does a good job. I mean, the biggest challenge we have is probably getting faculty to kind of break down content. If you're a veteran faculty that's, let's say, been very successful, 5, 10 years or more, teaching, one course the same way with, perhaps minimal adjustments, or minimal adjustments to kind of the meat and potatoes of it, right? Like the really important lectures will say, asking them to break that up, can kind of be a hard thing to get some buy-in from. And I get it too, right? I mean, sometimes change is not fun, especially if it's not your idea, right? Sometimes it's a tough sell. But we've had success. The faculty that have done that, it's gone really well. Years ago, we did small videos, I should say, well, short videos. What we did is we took difficult concepts in courses that faculty perhaps didn't dive this really far into, but something the students questioned. We called them our digital asset videos. And then we created the videos, put them out there. The students loved them. I don't know if we'll get back to that, but that was the pre-COVID days. And we actually used a video vendor. We're a small school. We don't have a multimedia team. And COVID put the small video business out of business. So perhaps we'll maybe one day looking to do something like that again. But taking that mindset, doesn't have to be professionally produced, of course, but just small, digestible chunks of information, something that we try to preach, and we show them the success that we had, with that. So some of the faculty that did do that, and saw the feedback from students, they then implemented it in, maybe one of their courses that went well, then another course, and it kind of snowballed. And whenever one faculty member, I guess, achieves success in one thing, I think it goes a lot further, having, for them to tell a peer, hey, I did this. We listened to Joe and his team and it worked out well. That a lot of times, is really helpful in kind of getting the ball rolling.
well, it really is the job of an instructional designer to take those really difficult, complicated concepts and break them down to where they're easily understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anything else from folks? Well, Joe, I think that's a wrap then.
Sounds good.
Hmm.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be back. Good to see you, Bob, and thank you everybody for joining. hopefully you learned at least a little bit.
Yeah, hey, you always have something really interesting, more forward looking, and that's what I look for the conference. So I'm always glad to have you.
Great. Well, thanks, Bob.
Okay, guys, we got another session coming up at the top of the hour. Hope to see you there.